All right, we're on to number 9 now, and we see that we have dy over dt equal 4t to the y. So our job is to get e to the y over to here and this dt over to there. So that's easy enough. We're going to divide by e to the y, and we'll multiply by that dt. Now, when we go to integrate, we got to be a little careful with this. We're going to actually bring this up and make it e to the negative y dy when we go to integrate there, and we'll integrate 4t dt here. Now, the integral of e to the negative y, you got to, again, be a little careful. We know the derivatives of e are themselves times the derivative of their exponent. So we know that this had to be e to the negative y to start with so that it repeated. But if you take the derivative of e to the negative y, you're going to get e to the negative y times negative 1. And we don't want a negative in here. We want it to just be that. So that means that originally we would have had to have a negative here. So that if I take the derivative of that now, it would be e to the negative y times negative 1. That negative would cancel this and give us here. Again, whenever you integrate, remember whatever you write down, you should be able to take the derivative of that and get you right back to where you started. Okay? You can do a u sub on it if you need to, but I think this is a little quicker and just as easy. Over here, this one's not too bad. This is going to go 4t squared over 2, which will give us 2t squared plus c. Okay. Again, as soon as we see plus c, we want to put our initial condition in. So we're going to plug in the initial condition. And that means for us, we're going to put 2 in for t and 0 in for y. So this is going to give us negative e to the 0. E to the 0 is 1. And over here, 2 times 2 squared, 2 squared 4 times 2 is 8. And that means c equals negative 9. So we're going to go ahead and put that negative 9 in for c. And over here now, we'll just rewrite what we had. Negative e to the negative y equals 2t squared minus 9. Let's go ahead and get rid of this negative. We're going to multiply everything by negative 1. So e to the negative y equals negative 2t squared plus 9. Now you got to get rid of the e. So you got to think about opposites again. What's the inverse of raising a power to e? And that would be the natural log. So we're going to take the natural log of both sides here. Natural log of negative 2t squared plus 9. And the natural log of e cancels. We're going to get negative y equals the natural log of this. Okay, and so last thing we do is multiply by negative 1, and we get negative natural log of negative 2t squared plus 9. It's sloppy looking, but that's what we have. We could put 2 back in. 2 squared 4 times negative 2, negative 8 plus 9 is 1. The natural log of 1 is 0, and that's what we want. So we feel pretty good about that answer. Again, the AP would give you a point for your separating at the initial part, 1 to 2 points on the integration, 1 point for finding out what C was, and then 1 point for our final answer here, just in case they put that on there this year. All right. Now for number 10, we again are going to divide by y, multiply by dx. We're going to get dy over y equals cosine x dx. We're going to integrate both sides. And the integral of dy over y is natural log of y equals the integral of cosine, which is sine, plus c. Okay, we're ready to plug in our initial condition. So when x is pi, y equals e. So we're going to put e in for y. This will be natural log of e equals sine of pi plus c. So we've got a couple little things to calculate. The natural log of e is 1. The sine of pi is 0. So we end up with c equal to 1. We'll put that back in here. Actually, we're going to go back into here where y and x was. And we'll solve for y now. So the natural log of absolute value y equals sine x plus 1. I'm going to raise both power to e. So that gives us absolute value y equals e to the sine x plus 1. You may be tempted to try to do a separation here. It wouldn't really make things easier looking. You'd have e to the sine x times e to the first. So no need for that. We'll just leave it like here. And the last thing we're going to do is take the absolute value, or get rid of that. And to do that, we want to then consider the positive or negative this. And because this is a specific solution, we do have to make a decision. We don't want to put plus or minus here, or we'll do all this work for nothing. We got to decide, is it the positive or is it the negative? So if I put pi in for sine, I get 0 plus 1. So I get e to the first, which is e, and that's exactly what I want. And so I want to keep this positive. I don't want it to be negative. And then that's our solution. Again, you'd get a point for the separation, 1 to 2 points for the integration, 1 point for the c, and 1 point for there. All right.